You shoot me in a dream, you better wake up and apologize.
Stuff your sorries in a sack, mister.
I thought this was America.
I'm sorry!
Congratulations! You've unlocked All Apologies, a show about apology tours and demanding satisfaction. I'm your host, Andy Q. Public, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Joe Sixpack.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
How you doing?
Friendly reminder here, March 9th at Comedy at the Carlson. All apologies, Andy and I will be there. Carl Hamburger doing stand-up, but it is Subreddit Surfing Live featuring Vinnie Paulino and Cardiff Electric. Come visit us in Rochester, New York. It's coming up pretty quick.
Yes, quickly approaching, and I'm getting pretty excited about it. I was doing the Scum Stream Patreon with Vinny, and we were kind of talking about things that we have planned for it and how the show is going to go and setting the table, and it's becoming real, and I'm getting very happy and excited about it because we have a good segment for everybody that's going to come. So please, if you're in the area, come check it out.
It's going to be fun. I'll say that. I don't want to say too much.
Terrific. But Joe, this is the mini show. And what we do on the mini show is round up some of the more prominent, discussable apologies that were featured on the Instagram this week. And there were a few good ones, to say the least. Are you familiar with the Instagram account?
Oh, am I? Yeah, you were. Yeah, definitely. I was looking at the, what was that woman who tried to, what was the one today? She was returning something. What was it?
A sleep number bed.
A sleep number. Oh yeah, fuck those people. I went in there. They had like some sale going on, and I was just like, well, I'd buy this. It costs thousands of dollars. I'm like, knock a couple hundred off of it for me. And they were just like, oh, that's completely unreasonable. Like they acted like I was a complete asshole for trying to get a deal on it. And I just went and bought a knockoff. Go look for Night Airs, another fuck Sleep Number. They're good. Yeah. I mean, I like the concept. It's just an air mattress, everyone. If you don't know what the Sleep Number is, the technology, it's just a fucking air mattress. It's not like they're, killing the game in beds.
It's like tire pressure is what you're telling me?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you want are you going on the beach? Then lower the tire pressure. Are you, do you need more pressure? Just increase it. It's just an air mattress.
Well, it turns out
everyone.
What we learned from that post, though, is if you show up and just say that you can't afford it and you're not going to pay your bill, they just wipe it out as long as you're a black lady.
Well, I watched a white woman return a 2.5-year-old sectional sofa to Costco with zero impediment. So just return it. Shop at big box stores. Keep your receipt and return it at any time. It's my life hack. Because the world's fucking you over anyway. So you might as well fuck them back a little bit.
Now they have armed guards at Walmart near us to protect the people that aren't shoplifting from the shoplifters. They're not, the armed guards aren't there to stop the people from shoplifting. They're to protect the customers that aren't shoplifting from the customers that are.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's where we're at in 2024.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're here to discuss today, Joe.
Yeah. Tell me about an apology.
Okay. Let's get into it. Because Jon Anik is an announcer, a play-by-play announcer for the UFC and MMA.
Okay.
And he got into some hot water because fans of MMA are passionate about the sport and the fights. And Dracus, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. DDP. He goes by DDP. It's Dracus the Palsy or something like that. And he won in a split decision over Sean Strickland. And a lot of people had opinions about who should have won that. And that's half of the fun of talking about sports. It's right. Oh, if things had gone this way, my team would have won. But it worked out this way, and all the discussion that comes around that, and the Instagram and social media were discussing that, and people were disagreeing with Anik, whatever. But some of our Instagram followers, particularly Coleman and Leo, shout out to those guys. They were kind of sounding off in the chat about what was going on with this. And what I came to understand is that Anik is kind of the guy that took over for Mike Goldberg, who was sort of the OG play-by-play guy.
Is he like the Mean Gene Okerson guy? This is my only frame of reference for any type of fighting.
Yeah.
Or is he the Jerry Lawler or the JR? He's the JR now, the new JR.
Goldie, as he's known, was sort of the OG play-by-play guy. And once Anik, he left in 2016, and once Anik stepped in for him, that's kind of like the pivot point to start saying that things have jumped the shark, because you're seeing a change somehow. Get it?
And people don't like change.
It makes people uncomfortable, but it's neither here nor there.
Did they change the way that somebody was getting roundhouse kicked in the face and being rendered unconscious? If that didn't change, then calm down, everyone. It'll be okay.
Yeah. If the guy that explained it to me was somebody else, my fighter would have won.
Right. It's not a woman, so no, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Anik just had things to say about who he thought should have won. And when people came at him in the chat, he went on his podcast and started shitting on the fans for being whatever, combative or opinionated about what they thought should have happened in the chat. So in that first Anik clip there, Ed, this is him on the podcast taking the fans to task.
Even if you and I both thought Dracus du Plessis won the fight, we try to present that information respectfully. And when I go on to X or I go to our YouTube comments, it seems like a lot of these fans are just in attack mode. And I don't know if these fans are casual fans or not, right? But I appreciate the passion, but I'm getting to a point at 45 years of age where I don't know how much time I have left in this MMA space, because if I go do pro football, like, I'm not necessarily going to be dealing with this lowest common denominator all the time. And I don't know, man, I just feel like there's a lot of malice and disrespect from the fan base, and we can disagree. Like, don't take it from me. Demetrius Johnson and Kenny Florian thought DDP won the fight. I don't know. I've just been very off put with the negativity that has permeated my feed since Saturday night. And I'm just not sure how much longer I have in this space, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, if you think there aren't lowest common denominator people at football games, then you're in for a rude awakening.
Well, I didn't take it that way. Sorry.
Well, he's just like, well, I mean, I don't like the fan base of MMA. I'm just gonna go do pro football. Well, are there shirtless, blackout, drunk guys throwing themselves through tables in 19-degree weather in the parking lot at an MMA fight? I don't think so. So maybe check yourself, Anik.
Well, this is like, it depends. If you're going to engage with fans of something, if you have fans or whatever, then it should all just be complimentary, or just be like, we'll get them next time, I didn't even take it like that, though, as far as that he was talking about the fans are the lowest common denominator. I thought that they were just
what he was saying.
What?
That is what he was saying.
Oh, okay. I didn't take it that way. I just thought they were like, I thought it was just referring to like, the most base level of commentary. Oh, I thought the other guy should have won. Oh, well, that's a very nuanced perspective that you have on the fight. You wish the other guy won. Okay. Hot take, dude.
Right.
That's how I took it. I didn't take it as these. Now, the MMA fans are kind of like, if you're looking for meatheads, that's where they are, right? Like, what I think I celebrated wrestling fans at one point, saying they were probably one of the most fanatical fans that you don't want to fuck with. Yeah, if you want meathead douchebag fans, I'd say they're in the MMA space.
The denominators don't get much lower.
Yeah.
But he then had to try and make amends with these fans. And he did that on Twitter and this series of AI clips that Joe is nice enough to put together for us. Clip 1.
Last week on my podcast, I was in a heightened emotional state following a myriad of allegations of bias at UFC 297. I made some regrettable comments relating to the MMA fan base. While I was surprised at the context to which my comments were repurposed and sensationalized, I need to be more responsible on an open microphone.
Okay. Repurposed. My comments have been repurposed. I like that one. I'm gonna have to remember that.
Yeah, right. But that's part of, I guess, what I'm in. I think in our show proper as well, we're going to get to this exact same kind of conversation. You're taking somebody's comments and applying your own feelings to it or whatever. Really, I didn't think he was talking about the fans or like shitting on the fans specifically. It just sounded like the lowest grade comment that you can make. And I guess maybe that is the fans or whatever, but I have to be more. He seemed very measured. It's not like he was unhinged in that clip that you showed us, where he was like, "These fucking fans, you can't please them at all. Either this guy wins and everyone's pissed off, or the other guy wins and everyone's." It wasn't even that. It was just like, whatever. I'm gonna go work for the NFL. Good luck. Nobody else wants to do that. There's not like a million players that, think that they're cut out for that job.
That's a good.
Best of luck in getting that new job, sir.
That's funny that you say that, because that was exactly my note. It was good luck. We'll see you introducing Tiffany at the Spearmint Rhino, because if you think you're just gonna walk into an NFL job, get in line.
Yeah,
at any rate,
introducing Testo or whatever, the new the latest the live DJ at the Super Bowl. You'll be like, and now here's the business. That's going to be your role.
And the apology didn't end there. Let's hear the second part of a 3-part apology.
So much work goes into the execution of just one UFC pay-per-view, so it can be tough when my integrity on broadcast is called into question. That doesn't excuse my retort. I am just a fiery, passionate, flawed, and pathetic guy, and sometimes my emotions lead the dance.
Well, that's a very much more measured approach than your initial approach that was something more like this.
You are the ones who are the ball lickers.
You can hear the typing, and that's exactly what he was doing on that podcast. Just trying to call out the chat.
It seems like the fan you're trying to just key in on anything to attack somebody over.
Well, that's
Jon Anik's best course of action is to delete your comment, delete my X account, delete anything that, if I was bringing anything to the table, now I'm bringing nothing to the table. Unless corporate says I've got to do this, I'm not doing it.
Let's have him wrap it up with the last clip there.
To those MMA fans whom I have offended, I am sorry. That was not my intention. For 12 years, I have prided myself on being accessible to the fan base, and that will continue. I have learned a lot over the last 48 hours. On to Anaheim.
Hooray for Anaheim.
Well, this is what I know that I've learned from Carl on WATP, and what Anik has forgotten. Anik has had people's attention for too long. You're lucky that you have anyone's attention, good or bad. When people come in the chat in a negative way, the only approach is to feel glad that they're paying attention to you at all. Because, I mean, we're on our Patreon stream right now. I want to thank everybody that has showed up to pay attention to the Patreon, because we need all the help we can get, whether, both with the downloads and people watching the show and helping us, pay the bills to for the hardware and the software that we use to put the show together. There's a certain degree of cost that comes with putting this show on. And I appreciate every single person that is helping us do it, and every single listener, on the free shit or on the paid shit, and anybody that's paying attention to the show. I appreciate all of them, no matter how much they want to shit on us in the chat. So, Jon Anik, shut the fuck up and take your medicine and be thankful that anybody gives a shit that you're even there, because a lot of people are sick of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I would. That's exactly right. And I think you mentioned Carl. Like, I think I learned something from Carl as well when it comes to this. And it's just like chat is for the listeners.
Yeah.
It's for that. Good, whatever's coming out of there, good or bad, that's their space. You don't have to engage with them.
You certainly don't have to go on your podcast and tell everybody that's chatting and listening that you think that they suck and you're sick of them and you're going to go over to the NFL that you don't have a chance of getting into. Anyway,
that's my whole perspective on everything. Andy's constantly bringing me back down to earth. I'm constantly throwing my hands up in the air going, fuck it, I don't care anyway. And Andy's like, well, you should care, probably a little bit. And I was just like, yeah, you're right, I do.
I only care.
Right.
I love all the comments that support. Yeah. Whatever. We got more to cover, and we're gonna move on to Tina Knowles, who, if you don't recognize the last name, is Beyonce's mom. Ooh. Tina Knowles was in the news for liking a tweet. That's what we've come to now.
God, I can't wait till this show is big enough where when Andy likes a tweet, it gets attention. That would be so cool. When Andy's mom likes a tweet, it gets attention. Cool. What'd she do? Yeah. What was the tweet? What was this breaking news?
Right. She liked a tweet that diminished Janet Jackson. This is where cancel culture has landed us. Now you get shouted down for clicking the little cartoon hand who's holding up the biggest finger. If you click the thing that's doing this, then you have to go on an apology tour because of social media. Tina Knowles saw her daughter's name. She's probably got like Google search results for Beyonce, and somebody had a comment the comment was regarding Janet Jackson's tour, and Janet Jackson is doing a meet and greet, and Janet Jackson has been in the game forever, and she has her fan base. They've been her fans forever, and that's not going away. But the way Janet Jackson is charging, I mean, I don't know how much the tickets are, but apparently if you pay another $1,000 on top, you can have a meet and greet with Janet Jackson. And somebody commented this tweet that somebody put Beyonce's name out there that Tina Knowles liked, said, what a joke. They add $1,000 for a 15-second meet and greet. No front row for fans unless you want to bend over so they can continue to rake in the cash. You want Beyonce prices, have real production. Just disgusted. I'm not the only one. Oh, the DMs I'm getting. Way to thank your fans for years of support. So that was the tweet that featured Beyonce's name in it. And Tina Knowles saw that somebody was like, oh, if you want a good show, go see a Beyonce show instead of paying $1,000 to meet Janet Jackson. So that was the sentiment that Tina Knowles liked. And then instead of people being like, well, Tina Knowles is going to bat for her friend. If you want to compare social media likes and dislikes, I'm sure Beyonce is going to win hands down against Janet Jackson. But that's not going to stop Tina Knowles from having to go on. I'm gonna put this in the category of not really an apology, but the article that I pulled this from
Yeah.
painted it as this is an apology. So this is the Tina Knowles clip, Ed.
Received a phone call that I'm trending for liking a post about ticket prices and an artist overcharging. First of all, being on the other side of that, I know better than anyone what a great production cost and that it's expensive. And I would never criticize another artist, let alone Janet Jackson, who is the queen of production, and her family. I mean, they're the first family of music, always have been and always will be, and I love and respect them. Secondly, I stay away from negativity. If you follow me, then you know that I am not involved in the mess. What I am guilty of is liking posts, going through when I'm in a big hurry and I don't have time to really read, and liking things because I trust that these are people that I follow. That was a big mistake.
Look at you now.
Again. So I just want you to hear it from my mouth that I would absolutely never do that.
There you see.
Showing the ticket prices there at the end.
Right. There's like over $800 for a ticket and then like another 1,000 to
For
meet her.
Janet Jackson, I mean, it's not. I mean, Miss Jackson. You know, I'm a nasty boy at heart, but that's not it. You know, like nobody. I don't know why you would pay that at this point. She's
Well, it might
like,
be your last chance to hear.
they're not going to reenact the wardrobe malfunction on stage. Is this even in an arena? Like, who's
Can you
going?
imagine if they did? She pulls out her tit and it's like down to her knee. It's like,
This is what everyone came for.
but sure,
Yeah.
you know, sure, they're the first family of music and the first family of beating your kids and pedophilia and butchering your appearance with plastic surgery. They're the first family in a lot of things. Teaching what?
Bleaching your skin.
Oh, well, I mean, that was a freak show in its own. But, you know, someone with nothing to lose, shit posting, and then you coming along, you know, and liking everything that's not a smart move to just be liking things.
No,
from,
that's
you know, a lot.
That's what your drunk uncle does and
Right.
sends you like, hey, I saw this. I've been guilty of it too. I was just like a link one time. I'm like, Artie Lang fixed his nose and he's doing comedy. No, that's from 10 years ago. And, you know, his nose was, you know, looking terrible because he just inhaled a dime bag of heroin up it. You know, like, I was just like, why would he choose this nose to get back in the business with? No, that's what his nose looked like.
He should have went with the Michael Jackson nose.
Yeah.
So
nose to thin out his face, his fat face.
Yeah, that leave it to Beyonce's assistant Tina Knowles. You don't need to be dipping a toe in that.
Right.
Last thing to cover is going to be the Britney Spears Justin Timberlake debacle that's been going on. Britney Spears she's a has-been, right? I don't know who these people are that are still gung-ho about going to bat for Britney Spears, she has mental problems. She's a recluse she's just like dancing on TikTok. She looks like shit. And now she's going to put out a memoir recounting this is how she's going to try and grab a little more spotlight in 2024.
Andy, she looks like she should go back. And this is actually like one white person can say this to another white person. Go back to where you came from. She looks exactly like she belongs in a Louisiana bayou. Like,
yeah,
that's what she looks like. She's just living her truth and just in the wrong part of the world. Just go back there.
Yeah.
It's emblematic of you. Just do that. But anyway, let's keep going.
And Justin Timberlake has a new album coming out. If you're talking about revenge being living well is the best revenge, Justin Timberlake has won this showdown easily.
I mean, if you're trying to compare the two, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just like if you're in Team Britney or Team Justin, and their what happened with their relationship, which is kind of the line in the sand that Britney is drawing. But Justin should just be in the pay no mind category. And he pretty much is. But she released a memoir where she said that while they were together, she got knocked up and decided to have an abortion, and it wasn't only her decision. Which, if you can read between the lines and know what that means, but in my mind, that's the way that conversation is supposed to go. You both arrived in this situation together. Let's talk about where you want it to end up. Oh, we're both millionaires with music careers that need to be discussed. Then, you know, it's easy to say I don't have time for this. So to then put out a memoir 24 years later and try and say that he forced me to do it just for the scandal of it is where Justin Timberlake finds himself now.
Was
with
she in a conservatorship or whatever at the time? Like Ed saying it was her dad's decision.
Yeah. It probably was.
Who cares? What?
It probably was, partly out of her hands. She hasn't been thinking for herself for 20 years.
Well, we can't take the show off the road for 9 months, while you're staggering around like a fatted calf. That's not going to play well in this million space.
Yeah, your only talent is your abs. So putting a baby behind those is going to end your career.
Have you heard like where they take the backing tracks out of her live shows or whatever? She's obviously like she's hitting every move and there's talent there and she's singing along a little bit, but man, without the backing track, it's pretty rough.
That's why she's spinning around on Instagram in outfits, not singing on Instagram to her fans. But Justin Timberlake put out a response. Well, he didn't even put it out. He was just on stage promoting his new album and his new single. And in the first clip, this is footage from his live show, kind of addressing the scandal that everybody will stop asking him about.
I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Yeah. So if you couldn't really hear over the music, he said, I want to take this opportunity to apologize to absolutely fucking nobody, because it's to him, it's water under the bridge and it's in the past, and ultimately it's Britney's decision, right? It's her body. She's going to have to raise it. It's out of his hands, right? So to throw it in his face 24 years later, he'd be like, thanks for fucking up my current marriage more than I already fucked it up.
Right. It's ridiculous. So
But
you can tell everybody to fuck off.
Like, yeah, your ex that is trying to use that information to make money with a memoir.
Yeah. I've paid for so many abortions that, I have to think about it once a month, every day. I was just like, oh, that abortion. God, I could have bought a Ferrari with the amount of abortions I've paid for.
Anyway. Well, Britney Spears did issue it was like a Twitter apology or whatever.
I want to apologize for some of the things I wrote about in my book. If I offended any of the people I genuinely care about, I am deeply sorry. I also wanted to say I am in love with Justin Timberlake's new song, Selfish. It is so good, and how come every time I see Justin and Jimmy together, I laugh so hard? PS Sanctioned is wow too.
Because you're an idiot is why you laugh so hard at that.
Yeah.
Watching Jimmy Fallon.
Okay, so she likes his new single, so it's all good. I know that I said that you forced me to get an abortion, but your new track's a banger. Congratulations. This has all been kind of desperate and sad. So to end on a lighter note, I figure one of these two megastars probably had to have another apology out there too. So I went and found this other one of Justin Timberlake that he issued for making a fool of himself on stage in those last Timberlake dance.
Accidentally hung brain.
Nothing is entertaining.
DC, beat your feet.
DC, I want to apologize to you for 2 reasons. Here and here. I had a long talk with both of them individually and said, don't you ever do that to me again. Maybe it was the khakis. It was a real khaki vibe. I'm going to make this up to you. I'm going to focus on these 2 guys right here and get them right. Love y'all.
Well, that's cute.
I don't know, was he drunk? Like it did not. I mean, Justin Timberlake is known for his dancing and stuff, so that looked definitely.
Yeah,
weak.
I thought the same thing. I think he drank a gay potion at Lance Bass's wedding and started doing those moves. But if you're gonna do that, you got to surround yourself with 6 other black kids that are doing the same thing and turn it into a popular dance. You don't just go out there as a cracker in khakis, and it's not jazz. It doesn't all work.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to have a plan.
Going rogue live on stage isn't always the best move.
In conclusion, I just want to thank everybody that's on the Patreon right now. I know I already did, but I can't thank you guys enough. I want to encourage everybody to like and follow on Instagram, comment if you have anything funny to say about the post. Issue your apologies there, demand apologies, rate and review wherever you find podcasts for Joe Sixpack and Andy Q Public.
Stay sorry.